Welcome back to part 2 of episode 60 of the Brian Lennon Show. I'm your host, Brian Lennon, as always, joined by none other than the producer extraordinaire, Mr. Gary McDaniel.
Hello. Yes. Oh my goodness, this is really annoying. I'm gonna have to do some research over the weekend here and figure out what I need to do now because we can't do this all the time. That'll be annoying.
See, Gary, Zoom thought they had us. They were going to limit us to 40 minutes.
Exactly.
And we'd be done. They don't realize we're Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
We've been working around shit for 40 plus years.
Exactly. We will always find a way.
So we'll just make part 2
So
mother.
that's right.
That's right.
Not limiting our episode 60.
No way. All right, so part 2. Let's Gary, I actually named this one about fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have a pet peeve, interesting story. Let's get into it.
Okay.
How often do you get hit up for buying stuff for people's kids' travel teams?
Ooh, yeah. When we were still doing rec ball, there was other kids that did travel ball and stuff like that. So yeah, we were getting hit up a lot with that stuff. And then even now with our friends that when their kids were going to Pinellas Park for football, he always used to have stuff. Well, of course, now I have a kid doing that stuff too. So
Now, does Colin have to raise any funds for the football team?
they probably will, yes, because I know they usually they used to sell those those cards you could buy, whereas like all the different restaurants,
Right.
$20 or whatever. And then you get 10% off one place or a free fry or something like that, or somewhere else. So I know they sell those. So I'm sure he's gonna probably have to do something like that at some point. But it's crazy.
And I don't have a problem like that, like a $20 card for like a public school team.
Yeah.
Even if it's a private school team, okay. I think the idea of travel is a little bit different because it's select. Like you as mom and dad have chosen to pay this fee for the team, for the practices. You've decided to travel 3 hours away from home on weekends to pay for hotel rooms and gas and meals out.
Yep.
In 2023 with inflation. I think you're crazy, but everyone has their own choice.
Yep. Yeah, we were actually just talking about that the other day. Like, we probably should have got Colin more into like the travel. But then I was like, man, travel at one point used to be, you had to be good to play on a travel ball team. Now it's as long as you're paying, they don't
You're
care
playing.
how good you are. You
Still
may not play, you may sit on the bench, but they're taking your money. You're part of the team. So
Yeah, it's really become, and again, I will be the first to admit, Joseph played travel baseball for a number of years. We traveled once to Maryland for like an overnight tournament, but typically we played within about a 1 to 2 hour radius of Northeast PA.
yeah,
So we would play up in New York, we would play in New Jersey, and we would play down by Allentown. But they were always like an hour, hour and a half away.
That's
So
pretty
we
much
wouldn't.
how they are here too. They're like that.
Yeah. So, we wouldn't have to incur the cost of like overnight stays. Occasionally we would, if we just didn't feel like driving home.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know. I don't think we'd be able to afford it now.
Oh no, it's crazy now. I don't. Yeah, that's why I was like, it's. And we were just talking about it, too, because I said I'm like, well, at right now at this age, he's probably too old for travel ball. Most of the kids at this age now are mostly either playing high school ball or I mean, I guess there might still be some travel ball teams at this age group, but I'm like, but you'd have to probably be really good to get into those right now. And it's like, I don't, I just feel like spending the money to, you know, have you sit there and not really play much.
Right.
Not going to be worth it. So, not that he's not bad. I mean, he's decent, but he hasn't played in the last couple of years now too. So it's kind of
Yeah.
slowed down a little bit. So,
And the other thing is with like fundraising stuff, I bought this shirt at the concert on Friday.
hmm?
I paid $20 for it,
Yeah, that's not bad.
right? And it's a really nice shirt, like real, it's nice quality.
Yeah.
And it actually has I'm not going to get tangled here. It has a little print on the back, like on the egg of
Oh, okay. Yeah.
on the yolk of the
Yeah.
shirt. You give me $20, you give me a nice t-shirt, I'm happy.
hmm
If Colin was selling PP High football shirts,
Yeah.
I would take one because it'd be fun to wear a PP High shirt up here where no one
Yeah.
knows what
Yeah.
PP High is.
Exactly.
And for people wondering, it's Pinellas Park.
hmm
I just call it PP High.
I usually just say P Park, P Park.
Okay, P Park.
But yeah,
Uh,
no, that's true. Yeah, if you're selling something that I'm gonna use, I have no problem, you know, giving you a little something something. But yeah, I mean,
like, don't sell me a $20 ticket that I know I'm not going to frickin' win.
yeah, yeah. Now I might just donate the $20 somewhere else.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, but yeah, if you're selling me something like
Give
Girl
me a
Scouts,
T-shirt.
Girl Scout, they sell the cookies.
Right.
No,
Give me
I'm gonna eat
something
them.
tangible.
So yeah, I want something for my money.
Right.
You know. So they did the one year the baseball team besides those random like $20 like coupon booklet things or whatever. They did sell like you get like the those like almost like a Tervis or a Yeti cup made
Okay.
like, but it had like Penel's Park on it and stuff like that, football and so like that. We bought a couple of those because I'm like, oh, we use those all the time, and they're the nice metal cups, and so it's like, all right, that I'm like, I have no problem throwing $20-$30 down after for one of those, but
Yeah, but I guess people are buying like $50 squares for,
see that
you know,
that's yeah, no,
I don't know. I'm not doing that.
yeah, I need something.
So, yeah. So this kind of all kickstarted when um Gary, as you may know, or some of our listeners may not know, I've been involved in different multi-level marketing companies over the course of my years.
hmm
And one of the kind of leaders, people I've read books and listened to, his name is Richard Brooke,
Okay.
and you know if you listen to his story, he's a millionaire, 10 times over, blah blah blah. So he sent an email to all of his like subscribers, which is a reminder you should subscribe to the Brian Lennon Show on Substack.
Mhm.
And he was seeking $100 from each of his followers for the victims of the fire on the Hawaiian island of Maui.
Okay.
And what he was doing was hoping to raise $1 million in cash. So sometimes, Gary, I can be a prick. As the great Hugh once said, I'm a 24 carat prick.
Uh-huh.
So it just struck me odd as, here's this guy who, will tell you and sell you how he's a millionaire multi times over and how easy it is to
Yeah.
do. But then he comes into my email box looking for $100 to, and now mind you, he lives on Maui,
Oh,
or
okay.
he has a home on Maui, I
Yeah.
should say.
All right.
I don't know if he lives there all the time. And it just kind of like triggered me like, don't ask me who's trying to pay $75 more a month in car insurance
Uh-huh.
and just had to pay $700 for tires.
Oh.
And, groceries are
Mm-hmm.
double the price
Yep.
to give, these people who live in Hawaii, who live in paradise,
Yeah.
$100.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gary, I emailed him. I replied to his email.
Oh, did you really?
I did. Let me find it here as our, here we go.
Yeah.
So I replied back to him, "Hi, Richard. Are you giving any of your own money to the victims of this fire?" And I signed it, sincerely, Brian Lennon. And much to his credit, Gary, and I don't know if it was him or if they probably get emails like this,
Yeah.
so they have,
Someone else's.
automated message. He replied back, "I seeded this effort with $1,000, which you can see on the list. HPP DBA, doing business as Bliss Business. In addition, we have directly donated $500 to one friend, paid for flights for anyone that asked, and spent 2 days organizing clothing and personal car items with others on Lanai and flying them over.
Oh.
Yesterday, we boated over and evacuated a family and their 3 dogs off the beach and back to Lanai or Lanai. I don't know how to pronounce it. We have spent most hours of every day since Wednesday supporting people."
Okay.
Touche.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
And then I asked him to appear on the podcast, and no, I did
Yeah.
not. I did not. What do you think? What do you think about that? It's the same thing, Gary, with even at the grocery store. If you want to donate your change, like I'm going to give Walmart my 36 cents so they can make a donation and get the tax break. Is that how that works?
That's yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Now I do that every once in a while, depending on like I don't mind like even amounts. So it's like, hey, you want to donate or whatever for children's blah blah blah, and it might be like, yeah, it might be only like 30, 40 cents. I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever, just round it up. But
I do in the McDonald's drive-through if I pay cash
okay,
and they ask you to donate the
yeah,
money to the Ronald McDonald House. I will do that because we do have a local one here in Scranton.
hmm
Jill at one point was on the board uh, with the hospital, and so I'm familiar with their work and what
yeah,
they do, and that the money actually does. Some of the money, at least, will benefit locally that hospital
yep.
or that Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, like I said, it's depends on what it is. Yes, same thing too. Yeah, if I'm paying with cash or whatever, and they ask me or whatever, and I'm like, I just don't feel like having the change. Or a lot of times, if I do even get the change, I just dump it right in the little things that are right there anyway. Either at McDonald's or if I'm in like one of the gas stations or whatever. So, but yeah, it's certain things. But yeah, but like you said, those other ones where like this guy asking for $100 from everybody. Like, okay, good. You're doing your part, but still, how does anyone know that $100 that's is going to go to the effort, or is it going to go just to help you fix your place that's sitting over there that burnt down or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hate to be like that, but it's like these. Gary, when you live in Florida,
Uh huh.
hurricanes happen in Florida.
Yep.
And so you moved there, you knew that, you bought a house there, you understand that. There's part of I think, and that's probably for every region of the country. When a hurricane hits Florida, we're like, well, what did they expect?
Yeah. Mhm.
And when we get hit with a blizzard, you're like, well, that's what you get when you live up north.
Huh? Yep.
And you get mudslides in California or earthquakes. Like,
Tornadoes in the Midwest.
right, if you live in Kansas, you're going to have tornadoes. Like,
That's 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 why they make insurance. So as long as you have
yeah,
insurance on your home, you should be okay. But if you don't, no, I mean, yes, it does suck. You lose everything, but that's basically. I mean, yeah, it's the risk you're taking moving into
right.
situations like that.
And I mean, you guys, obviously there's perks to living in Florida. It's 80 degrees in February when we're freezing our asses off up here in,
Uh huh.
you know, and believe me, all of you post, pictures of your feet in the sand and like, oh, love the sunset here on the beach.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, there's a part of me that's this is awful to say, but there's like a part of me that's not sorry for them. Now, this fire I think is unique because it's a unique, a huge fire like this. And apparently it's even bigger than I thought it was,
Oh yeah.
when I initially emailed Richard Brooke.
There's a few conspiracies on it, but yes.
Oh, you've heard conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Really?
one show I listened to, they were talking about it.
Mm.
Might have been yesterday, and basically they were saying that it's funny that there's nothing, and then all of a sudden there's this giant fire that just is just destroying everything. And from what they were talking about was saying that there's been companies, billion-dollar companies, that have been wanting to buy out like this land, and these people wouldn't sell it. So now
Yes.
now they're going to be able to buy up this land very cheap because this fire all of a sudden is.
That's very interesting, Gary, that you mentioned that because um there was actually a podcast I was listening to with an author who just wrote a book about Hawaii. And she was talking about it's like burial grounds or something. It's like very sacred land to the native Hawaiian people.
Like they said the people that have been in this area that have been living like have lived there for years. Their taxes are dirt cheap because they've been there for so long, and
Mm.
so and I guess there's been a lot of like big companies that have been wanting to buy out this land, and these people have been denying it or whatever. So now and then all of a sudden there's this massive fire, which they're saying probably was caused by some sort of laser from space and a satellite. Now that might be getting a little too crazy, but I mean,
Oh wait, you're not talking about a UFO, Gary, are you?
no, not a UFO, but well, but then that could be it too. Maybe the aliens really like that island,
Hmm.
and they decided, hey, let's shoot a something down there. Let's burn that place down so we can move in. So
Maybe the native Hawaiians have been communicating with extraterrestrials all this time,
that could be true too. That could be
and
true.
maybe Pearl Harbor was just a hoax or something. Maybe it was actually a UFO invasion.
It was the aliens
It
that,
wasn't the Japanese.
yeah, that's. I mean,
You've heard it here first, people. The Brian Lennon Show, rewriting history.
right? Aliens that
Um,
took over Hawaii.
this this show has gone off the rails. Not only are we on our part two, but now we are really
Hmm.
doing a deep dive into conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah.
But it is interesting that you brought that up, Gary, because I just maybe a month or so ago I heard that interview
Yeah.
with that author, and she was telling me that they were really fighting, literally fighting for the land. Like they would block the driveways and the roads up to this mountain from these developers that are trying to develop the land.
Yeah. And yeah,
So
like
yeah, he's probably part of the. Who knows? Maybe he's part of the. Yeah. Okay.
but yeah,
How are we doing on time? Do you have a?
no clue.
Okay. Before it gets too late, should we do news of the weird?
Sure.
As if we haven't had enough
Yeah,
weird
enough
news.
weird news.
And now it's time for news of the weird with your host, Gary McDaniel. And we will go from the Hawaiian Islands to the Tampa Island,
That's
the
right.
Tampa Bay newsroom.
All right. A woman says she fractured her ankle when she slipped on a piece of prosciutto. Now
Oh,
she's
we are
suing.
we're getting into lunch meats
Boston,
again.
Massachusetts. A woman who fractured her left ankle during a trip with her husband to the Italian food emporium eatery in Boston last year is blaming her injury on a piece of ham. Alice Cohen was heading to an area where food samples are distributed to customers on October 7th when she slipped on a piece of prosciutto and fell, according to a lawsuit filed Friday in Suffolk Superior Court in Boston. Alice Cohen sustained bodily injuries, a loss of enjoyment of life, pain and suffering, and increased necessary medical expenses for medical care and attention. The medical expenses, including a hospital visit and physical therapy, have resulted in more than $7,500 in bills. Cohen and her husband, Ronald of Guilford, New Hampshire, are seeking a jury trial and at least $50,000 in damages. The lawsuit claims
That's a lot of prosciutto.
Eatley was negligent for not properly cleaning the floor. The restaurant had a duty to ensure that the surface of the floors were free from unnecessary dangers, a, a duty to use ordinary care to maintain the premise in a responsibly safe condition, and a duty to warn of such dangerous conditions.
You
Eatley
just like
is
saying duty, don't you?
a duty. Eatley is a gourmet Italian restaurant and food market with 8 locations in U.S. and 8 overseas, according to the company's website. Prosciutto is a type of thinly sliced cured ham that originated in Italy. Email seeking comment was left with Italy corporate headquarters. Voicemail seeking comment were left Cohen and their attorney.
Gary, what do you think is the slipperiest meat? Would it be prosciutto, salami, pepperoni, or as our guest from last week, Chad said, gabagool?
Gabagool. Ooh, that's a good one. Man, I would probably say pepperoni only because it's greasier
Yes,
than all the
I
rest.
would agree. Although if you got a nice big piece of like sandwich, no, I think it would be the sandwich like pepperoni.
Yeah,
You could, because you would almost get your whole foot on a piece of that, and you would go.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. The bigger ones, yeah. The tiny ones, you're not going to really do much, but yeah, the bigger slice. Like I for now, my thing with her, she was it's like she was probably trying to book over to get a free sample,
Oh, always.
see it, and slipped. So technically, I don't. I mean, yeah, okay, they should clean up, but I mean, but you're in you're in a restaurant that has like all that like stuff like that, where if they're doing samples like that, some pieces might fall on the floor. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure they weren't just throwing prosciutto all over the place. And she probably just wasn't paying attention, running over to get herself a free slice of prosciutto and fell on her arse. So
That might be a good science experiment for Colin.
there we go.
Like the texture, slipperiness. There's probably a scientific term. I just can't think of it. Where he could measure the resistance of the lunch meats.
I'm thinking too. Like I mean, that is like the prosciutto is very thinly sliced. So I mean, I don't even. I mean, there'd have to be like maybe a couple pieces on the floor to slip on. I don't know if you can slip on
Yeah.
just a piece of it.
Well, I hope she stays out of the produce department with the bananas, you
Oh yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah. All
Crazy.
right, what's next?
All right. Well, we're gonna stick with crazy women. And we're gonna start with the suburban Detroit woman says she found a live frog in a spinach container.
Ooh.
Southfield, Michigan. A woman in suburban Detroit said she got a scare when she discovered a live frog in a container of spinach purchased from a grocery store. Amber Warwick of Southfield said she bought the sealed, earthbound farm spinach package earlier this week from a major store. When she got home, her daughter found a live frog in the container and screamed. It was alive and moving, Warwick said. Just thank God I didn't eat the frog. Warwick said she immediately returned the package and the frog to the store.
Hmm.
Workers there released the frog and gave her a refund. The TV station video showed the frog in a sealed container. Jennifer Holton, a spokesperson with the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, told the Detroit Free Press that the store shouldn't have released the frog because authorities now don't know whether it's native to the state. She
Jeez.
said the department referred the incident to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Major officials said the frog was relocated to a new home outdoors. Officials at California-based Taylor Farms, which owns Earthbound Farms, apologized in a statement and promised to continue to provide the freshest, finest quality veggies for consumers.
You know what I would say if I found a frog in my spinach, Gary?
What's that?
Hug, 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 hug.
It's just extra protein. That's all.
Yeah. Well, you know, with sometimes with packages of spinach, you just have to rib it open.
I mean, my thing is, how did this frog survive a sealed package of spinach? Unless it was living off the. Like I'm just thinking, like, they go through those machines that, they usually seal those suckers pretty tight. So
Yeah.
how the
It
heck?
is odd that it didn't croak.
Exactly. Yeah, I would assume, like, when I first looked at that, I was like, oh, okay, it was a dead frog. But then I'm like, when I looked at it over, I'm like, oh, it was a live frog. I'm like, how the hell was that thing still alive? But
All right.
I don't know, but that's news of the weird. Oh my goodness gracious!
You know what, Gary? Maybe in 5 years we can put together like a little book, Gary's News of the Weird. We'll collect all the stories that we've done and some of our commentary, some of our one-liners, and it would make a beautiful Christmas gift.
That'd be lovely. That would be lovely. Yes.
All right. We're still doing good on time, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe so.
As far as we know.
Yeah. I think we might have maybe been on for another half hour.
We get 40 minutes, though, don't we?
Yeah, that's what it says. But we haven't hit the 10-minute timer yet, so.
Yes, that's good. All right, Gary. The other thing I want to discuss with you, you mentioned this. I think we were off the air maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you mentioned something about a court appearance.
Uh-huh. Well, I didn't have to go to court, but.
So you want to tell me and our listeners, our 7 faithful listeners, exactly what happened?
So I was on my way to work, and it's not like I wasn't running late or anything, but I guess I'm just in a habit of when I get on 19, I just start driving, and I don't really and I wasn't really paying attention. I was just going, and all of a sudden, I was just getting over like one of the humps on the road, and all of a sudden I see a motorcycle cop sitting on the thing.
You got pulled over by a motorcycle
with the radar gun, and all of a sudden I looked down and I was like, oh shit. I was doing 75 and a 55.
Holy shit.
So,
on 19?
Yeah. Oh, 19's like the Autobahn sometimes.
Oh my god.
But the problem was I wasn't mixed in with other traffic. Like people were kind of spread out a little bit, so I was literally by myself at that one point, and I was like, oh, damn it, it hits me. So I'm still going. Now I'm still just driving. I probably could have shot off an exit somewhere and did some weird back road stuff by the time that guy got on his bike and started coming up at me, but I wasn't the only one. There was at least 5 other people after he had pulled me over, and then when I left, there had to be another 5, like maybe 3 on my side and 2 on the other side. So they were all out that day. So yeah, so it sucks.
So you got pulled over by Punch.
I did. Mm-hmm.
And just to give folks an idea, and it's been a while since I've been down there, but 19, Gary, would be similar to, I think, like our Route 6 up here in Northeast PA in Scranton.
Yeah.
It's like 2 lane. It might be wider now, but
yeah, it's 3 lanes.
It's a heavy, like industrialized roadway. There's businesses on each side.
Yep.
No way should you be traveling 75 miles an hour on the road,
Well,
no matter what time of day.
well, they've changed it now because they put like an overpass, like it's almost like an overpass in. So they took out a lot of the lights and everything. So now it's just
Okay.
like it's like a major like a bridge almost that you could just go over, and you just go. So I shouldn't have been going that fast because I wasn't in no major hurry. I don't know why I like I said I was just kind of zoned out. It was a Monday too, so it was just like from the weekend you're not
Great
like
start to the
just
week.
going, not even paying attention, and I'm like, but I mean he did reduce it. He brought the ticket down to 9 miles over,
That was nice.
and then I had to take one of those like driver online classes or whatever that you do when you're like taking your permit test.
So you and Colin were studying together.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. I was like, when he was doing
Colin,
his,
come
I was
over here
kind
and
of
help me
paying
with
attention.
this.
So now I'm like, well, I did it at work the other day. So like, it was like the Friday. I had it on. I just was listening to it in the background, and then when the test thing popped up, it was supposed to be 4 hours long, but it didn't feel like it was 4 hours because I mean, I paused it multiple times and everything, and then like the end test was nothing like he had to take. Like there was like 8 questions, I think.
Okay.
And I was like, and it was, I just blew through it. I was like, oh, well, this was easy. I'm like, so
it was more of just like a after school detention.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna waste your 4 hours, but
And did you get a ticket?
I did, yeah. So but like I said, he marked it down to only 9 miles over. So it was, with taking the class, it was like 130. So,
That's not too bad.
man, no, I've had worse.
It's more than a subscription to the Brian Lennon Show on Substack for a
True.
year.
Yeah, and it's less than
So
paying for Zoom now. So, but
yeah. All right. So no court appearance.
no,
You're not fighting it.
uh,
You're not going to fight Ponch in court.
nah, I don't, because I'm like, I'm not.
Do you get points on your
Now
license or anything?
because I took that test online. Now I have to get the paper sent in. I haven't dropped that off yet. I have 60 days from when when I paid the ticket, so I'm still good. I'm just gonna mail it in now because by the time I get out of work to get to the one place, I can never drop it off. So, but if I don't get it dropped off, then my license will be suspended. So
Well, you better drop it off.
I have to get that.
But
Thing. I'm just gonna mail it
don't
in.
speed there.
I'm gonna mail it in.
Well, in other court-related news, Gary, excuse me. Last week I passed the Pennsylvania Notary Public
Oh, nice. Congrats.
exam.
Nice.
So I'm just waiting on my bond to appear.
Okay.
And then I will have to go to the courthouse or the clerk of the court to register my signature and take the oath.
Okay. Sweet.
So that'll be my new job that I've been working for like a year and a half. It's kind of come to the point where I need my notary.
Yeah.
So
that's how she's got hers for Florida and Kentucky because they work out of their
because she has business there.
Places out of Louisville. So
you guys could move to Kentucky.
We could if we want to. Yeah,
be a lot closer.
It would be. Yeah. There's much in Kentucky though. Bourbon.
Louisville.
Yeah.
It's like actually Louisville is kind of nice because you go to Ohio, you go to Indiana, go to Columbus, Cincinnati, Pennsylvania. Just saying. All right. Yeah. So excited about that.
That's cool. Good.
Yeah. Moving up.
Notary.
Moving up in the world. What's that?
If I ever need a notary in Pennsylvania, I know where to go.
You know to call. Now, your mom used to be a notary, correct? When she was with the bank?
She was, yeah. I don't know if she still is or not. I'll have to ask her.
I don't think she was because I think I needed her once.
Yeah,
I asked her and she's like, "No, I'm not a notary anymore."
She may have let it go because she wasn't really doing much with it anymore. So,
all right, we only have About 3 minutes left of the show, Gary. I just want to give people an update on my medical status here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've got so many appointments there. Tomorrow morning, I'm going for my second vitamin B shot.
Oh, jeez.
So I have to go for those on Wednesday mornings now. I had a televisit with the doctor for the sleep apnea
Uh-huh.
sleep study.
Yeah.
You sound like jumping Jeff Walker there with the echo on.
Yeah, my reverb just kicked on for some reason.
um, so I have to do a sleep study. He's pretty convinced I already have sleep apnea.
Yeah.
He made me look in. He made me pull the laptop into my mouth,
Okay.
and he said
Make you say,
he
ah.
he could tell my tongue was too big for my mouth.
Oh, lovely.
No, never heard a complaint
Oh, yeah.
about it, but yeah. So he thinks my tongue is too big for my mouth,
Lord.
and then I must have also moved to the side. So he got a picture of my profile and my Simpson chin, because my chin is kind of like recessed.
Okay.
Like I don't have a strong jaw, as they say in Hollywood.
Okay.
And so he thinks that, combined with the large tongue
Mm-hmm.
and maybe some extra weight around my neck, which is where I always gain weight when I'm heavier,
Yeah.
all contributing to what he is convinced is sleep apnea. But I have to go pick up the test in October. It's like a wristwatch that you wear,
Oh, okay.
and it, I guess, monitors your breathing and all that.
Interesting. All right.
And then I have the colonoscopy scheduled
Mm,
for September 22nd, which is a Friday.
okay.
So I'll have a long weekend.
Yeah.
I'll be prepping Thursday night
Uh-huh.
and then delivering the baby
Uh-huh.
throughout the night, in anticipation for the colonoscopy on Friday morning.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously more details to come with that.
That should be
All
fun.
right, that gives us about a minute left. Gary, anything else you want to share?
Yeah. No. Well, we did do the gym last night, so my arms have been killing me today.
Was that your second trip to the gym?
Uh, that might have been, yeah, second or third.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little behind.
Hey, every journey starts with one step, right?
Exactly.
Colin started school.
Yeah. Yep, this was his fourth day, so
He's doing well
so
in
far,
the
yep.
public school, back in public school.
Yep.
Very good.
So, but yeah, so that's it.
All right, that's going to do it for part 2 of the Brian Lennon Show, episode 60. I'm your host, Brian Lennon. As always, thank you to my co-host and producer extraordinary, Gary McDaniel. And we'll talk to you next week.
Peace out.
Just let Zoom end it.
That's all it's gonna do. It's just gonna